This is a clarion call. Blow the trumpet in Zion. Sound the alarm on my holy mountain. It's time for all people to awaken from their slumber. This is a time to see clearly the signs of the time.
Is it too late to start over? Once upon a time, people had love and compassion for each other. We saw it in the son of a poor carpenter whose name was Yeshua, Jesus, which means God's salvation. His mother Mary called herself a simple servant of the Most High, but the angel who came to her called her favored. Lowly shepherds came to Yeshua at his birth, and wise men traveled from afar just to see him and to bring him gifts fit for a king. Yeshua grew in the wisdom of the Lord, and he chose 12 men whom he called his disciples, men who were not from the ruling class, but lowly fishermen. They went from town to town, preaching and doing good. The townsfolk followed him, but those who had prestige and power denounced him. He spoke words of unity and love for one another, and he backed up his words with great signs and wonders. He fed the 1,000 with a few loaves and fishes, and he healed the sick, and he brought sight to the blind. He spoke in parables. These were stories with deep truths. When he rode into Jerusalem, the people cried out, "Hosanna in the highest." What they actually were crying about was for him to save them, for they knew he was the Son of God. Yeshua had such popularity that the ruling class of people felt threatened by him, and they wanted to crucify him, and they did it by false witnesses and lies. But they did not believe that the one they crucified was actually the Son of God. Yes, he truly was God's salvation. The grave could not hold him, nor could his enemies keep his words from spreading. It's been over 2,000 years, and the same message has been preached up till now. Today, more than ever, we see that the false witnesses and the lies have resurfaced. Love has turned to hate. Doing good has been replaced with doing evil. Yeshua himself predicted this would happen. We read in Matthew 24, 4-13, this, "And Yeshua answered and said to them, See to it that no one misleads you, for many will come in my name, saying, I am the Messiah, and they will mislead many people. And you will be hearing of wars and rumors of wars. See that you are not alarmed, for those things must take place. But that is not yet the end, for nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there will be famines and earthquakes in various places. But all these things are merely the beginning of birth pains. Then they will hand you over to tribulation and kill you, and you will be hated by all nations because of my name. And at that time many will fall away, and they will betray one another and hate one another. And many false prophets will rise up and mislead many people. And because lawlessness is increased, most people's love will become cold. But the one who endures to the end is the one who will be saved. We see today that lawlessness has increased. Many people today no longer have to pay for their crimes. Lawlessness is permitted and not punished. So everyone thinks now that they will no longer have to pay for their sins. There is white-collar crimes and blue-collar crimes, and all sorts of street crimes. Crime at every level. Because of crime, we also see today that love has grown cold. People no longer go out of their way to speak to each other, let alone help each other. Years ago, people knew their neighbors and spoke to their neighbors and helped them out. Yes, we can come together, and we have come together in the past, but it takes a disaster to bring us together. We are more divided today than ever before in this country. Why can we drop our barriers during a disaster, but not at any other time? We could come together and pray, as we did during 9/11, but today you are not allowed to pray publicly. After any disaster is over, we go right back to being cold in our hearts. and not just toward each other, but we have turned cold toward God. This used to be a godly country. People lived by godly principles. In fact, many of our laws are based on the Ten Commandments, which no longer can be displayed in public. The Son of God is mocked, and God's people are being persecuted. Our students are taught to rebel against God, and so we have lost a whole generation to humanism, which simply says, there is no God except you. If it feels good, do it. You owe it to yourself. You deserve a break. What's right for you may not be right for me. Love and morals and having a conscience have all been lost. We no longer forgive one another, and so we just continue to hate. Today, if I don't like what you believe or how you act, I just cancel you. But maybe first I will bully you. There is no civility any longer, but one day you will need your neighbor, and your neighbor down the street will need you. And if we keep fighting each other and calling each other names, we will destroy ourselves and this planet. Only God in His ways will help us maintain a society where we can all coexist, as we have for over 6,000 years. It has only been through love for our fellow man. Yes, we have had dark moments in history, but because God holds every day in His hands, allows Him to be in control of our future. So, is it too late to start over? The answer is no. It is never too late to return to God. If we return to God, He will return to us, and we will have a future. We will have enough food and water for everyone on this planet. Who do you believe? God, who is not a man that He should lie? Or do you believe man, whose hearts are cold and can no longer feel and could care less?